Hi, I'm Gerald Saul. That's Brian. This is the year 1988. I've just begun shooting my newest picture, Angst. And this is a part of it.
The grass is moving like the back of a dog who has lost its master, been beaten with a stick, and is howling in the dark of
The misted swirl over meadow swamp, shadows drum with the ghosted stomp. Grass is green and gnarly trees. I walk alone in darkness. There's nothing more for me or you. Welcome to the darkness. I walk low. I walk low. There's nothing more for me or you. I met a girl in a high.
Thank you for coming. You're about to watch a vampire film. If you're expecting to be terrified and leave the theater shaking, then I must warn you. This is not a horror film. It is instead a film about pain, loneliness, and love.
I sleep, but my mind does not.
So let us begin.
I remember it was dark. It was always dark. If I'm not blinded by it, I feel it has been dark too long, far too long. The moon and the stars are all that fill my skies. I look between them to the endless expanse of the universe, so distant, so empty, so dark. It's hard to remember the light. It's hard to remember a lot of things from the early life. Dying can do that to you, but I digress. My story tonight begins much later, 693 years later to be exact, right here in the city. I hadn't lived here all that long, but so much had changed in that short time. So much had changed. I didn't see it coming. I refused to see it coming. It seemed every time I had emerged, there was a new fad, a new invention, a new revelation. Until one day I arose and realized how old I felt in this brave new world. How empty the darkness was. Dark, empty, lonely. I met the kid one night in this place. He seemed very alien in his torn jeans and Pierre Cardin t-shirt, fiddling with that strange metallic device in the dead of night. That device would eventually change my perceptions forever. Luckily, I didn't kill him, or else this wouldn't have amounted to much of a story. Somehow, a moment before I was to sink my teeth into his fragile little neck, he spoke to me, calmly. "Hi, how are you feeling?" I didn't ponder the actual statement until much later. I was too intrigued by the fact that he ignored a direct threat on his life and soul. I was impressed enough to spare him, but too hungry to stay and chat. Spring had arrived and hunting hours were growing shorter. I did not see him again until over 2 months later. None of you, or at least not many of you listening to this, could possibly imagine it. 7 centuries is a long time to do anything, no matter how delightfully gruesome it may be. The last thing you need to do is actually feel anything, or question why it is that you don't feel anything. But as I said, it was spring and nights were still long enough to spend time sitting around digesting and thinking. Ponder questions. His question. How do I feel? How does it feel to kill? I probably would have frightened him if I'd told him how it feels to have killed 3 or 4 times a week for the past 693 years. How it feels to have removed 120,000 lives from existence. It frightened me. I found him again. I thought it strange at the time how quickly I located him once I began looking, as if he was trying to be found. He was sitting in one of those damn donut shops trying to read under whatever fluorescent light could reach his book through the haze of cigarette smoke. I stood outside the window staring at him. He glanced up, saw me, finished his paragraph, and came out to face me. I failed to understand why he was so casual towards me. My kind symbolized terror and death to his. It wasn't until much later that I would understand that that was what attracted him to me in the first place. We spoke for hours. It was past 6 before my digital watch warned me of the approaching dawn. Actually, I can't really say we talked. I asked questions and he asked questions back. Neither of us seemed to be giving any answers at all. But beneath it all, we were. I learned a lot about both of us that night. It was 2 a.m. before I caught up with Sydney at Dash Hound Donuts on 12th Avenue. It was the night of answers. We left Dashies right away, as my body becomes rather translucent under fluorescent lights, and set out walking the streets. He told me he was a student of the cinema. The idea of capturing an image in motion appealed to me greatly. Cinema. His studies had taught him so much. Eventually, he asked to photograph me. He withdrew a small, still camera. I was quite surprised, and I became invisible through the mirrors within the camera. The concept.
According to science, all things in the universe possess a wavelength subject to itself. Not only light and sound, but matter as well. A body, if it were able to alter its own wavelength to any degree, which would certainly surprise any physicist I've ever met, would, in a sense, be able to render itself silent, invisible, or even ethereal. It is questionable whether a being such as this could exist, its body being not so much material as a type of textural projection of its own mind. The question arises as to what such a creature would use as energy, as food, light, and fuel, as we understand it, would undoubtedly be quite useless to it.
Why does he want to be my friend? Does he want to die so badly? I remember watching 2 boys grow up. Blood brothers, I heard them call themselves. Blood brothers. I saw them go through a ritualistic bonding ceremony, opening each other's veins. They were always together, unswathingly loyal, inseparable. Years later, when they were both 30, I killed one of them, opening up his throat in the middle of the street. The other one didn't even attend the funeral. I guess you outgrow having best friends. And so Sydney came home with me. I showed him the basement, darker than the blackest night, a room drenched in blood, a room drenched in pain, a room of fear, 1,000 voices cursing me. I showed him the basement. 1,000 voices cursing me. I showed him the basement. Weeks passed. We were a bit scared, I admit, to see what the next step would be. When you tear down, you've got to expect to face whatever dwells on the other side. Walls aren't built by accident. Sid told me a story.
I thought I was in love. No, I was in love. Her name was Debbie. I remember our first date. We went to a movie, and we somehow got our heads together during the show. and I could feel her hair on my hair. I thought everything was okay. We always had lots of fun, laughing. Then one day she just said, "We have to talk." Well, that was that.
I feel afraid of his closeness, but I realize how lonely I am. I told him this. I thought that I had accepted this a long time ago. Lonely I am a long time ago. You can be good all of your life, but you can be evil forever. I guess it's because Sid is so naturally depressed that I make no noticeable changes in him. He peaks at forlorn.
Angst, a form of deep depression brought about by extreme stress, motivated by hopelessness. The natural state of depressionists.
Sid came to me and told me of a dream. The daylight shone down on him. Though it could not burn him, he was afraid. He was afraid because he was somebody important. He was loved and hated. The attention given to him took away his invisibility, removed him from the darkness and blinded him. He was exposed to a world of chaos which played with him like a puppet, a toy. It played with him and threatened to discard him, his body, his ideas, his soul.
I made perfect eggs today. I'm sick and tired of these guys. I can't stand them. Look at that Mike. What a slob.
The Depressionists, a group of prolific post-New Age Canadian artists who made themselves famous in the 1990s when they declared, "Depression is the mainstay of our personal identity, or rather, our non-identity. By categorizing our state of mind, we separate ourselves from all other individuals who find themselves depressed out of failure rather than by choice. It is this link that separates us, makes us different."
Alone again. He's left again, and I failed to locate him for over 3 weeks. My mood darkens. This is very interesting, very distressing. Alone again. My mood had been constant for so long, and now it changes day by day. When he's not with me, I feel like a part of me is missing, a part I have not known in a long, long time. The night mocks me. I know he's out there, somewhere. Part of me is missing. I found the gremlin in the suburban street. Perhaps it's where he lives. Perhaps he's sick inside. Perhaps he's dying. Perhaps he's tired of me. Perhaps he hates me. How dare he mock me? How dare he? Perhaps he's just sleeping. Perhaps the plan of nocturnal wanderers is one fewer these nights. The night. The night mocks me. To sleep, perchance to dream. Not a dream for me, but a journey into my afterlife. A brief visit, an endless visit. See where my soul is gone, what it left me for. The flames lick at it and it screams for me. I see it and feel disgust and fear. I must live, else I join it. I must join it, else it will scream forever. Screaming, screaming, screaming. It's very loud in hell. I felt them die. I liked it. I liked it. What are their lives as compared to mine? What could they do that any other of them couldn't do just as well? Could any of them conceive of an original thought? Could they create a thing of beauty or initiate a change in the world? Would they find true love? Happiness? Are they not cattle awaiting the slaughter? They deserve to die. I deserve their blood, their lives, their souls. I deserve to kill them, to hear their screams and curses, to hear them weep and beg. I deserve their pain, their sorrow. I deserve their death. I felt them die. I never see the sun anymore. I haven't seen the sun since 1296. I saw the world of 1296. I remember a farm girl in northern France who was beaten by her parents and thrown down a well. I remember the townspeople bringing gifts of bread and flowers to console the mourning parents. I remember oaths spoken. I remember crimes committed. I remember such talk of love and feelings of hate. I was so full of hate. I killed. Killing calmed the anger, so I killed again and again. Soon the anger and the hatred were all but forgotten, but the killing went on. I guess I got into a bit of a rut. Sometimes when people get into a rut, they can never get out of it, even when they die. The day is dark. I am dead. I am on fire, a chilling, icy fire. I close my eyes, I close my ears, I close my mind, but I am torn open. Open. Open to be burned by the cold. Open to be deafened by the screams, by the silence. Open for my sins to be revealed to all. If I could pray, I would pray for the sun to set, the sunset when I can rise again. Rise and smell the sweet, sweet smell of existence. It is quiet once more, dark and quiet, but the storm will come. The storm always comes. I heard the hum. I could feel it warming. Suddenly, in a flash, it began emitting a terrible light. God. What a wretched existence.
Wretched. Deplorably unfortunate, causing misery and sorrow. Despicable or mean. Inferior or worthless. Forlorn, miserable, pitiable.
Time. The hands of time spin meaninglessly. A clock. Mechanics and arms bringing great fear and dread to even the young. Aging. I've forgotten the feeling, but not the fear. The knowledge that each day brings me measurably closer to an unavoidable death. I like the kid, but for all his claims of desiring death, I'm sure he'd rather avoid it altogether. Like me, he is cursed with an overwhelming instinct for self-preservation. I like the kid. After he turned the television off and scraped me off the floor, there didn't seem to be much left to say. The hunger hit me, but I had no energy to hunt. I slept a cold, dreamless sleep. Now I come to the most memorable events, the guts of the story, as it were. The projector stood there, so unimpressive at first, I'm embarrassed to say, because when Sydney turned it on and that warm, gentle light trickled out, I laughed. I laughed because I knew that all that the devil had denied me was being given back. The world, as science explains it, composed of form, mass, atoms, etc., is meaningless to all but the most mundane mind. The images and feelings, primarily our perceptions of things, is all that counts. Seeing and hearing a bird is more important than the existence of that bird. Sight, sound, emotion, if you desire them enough, will keep you young forever. Immortality on celluloid. My mind spins and rejuvenates. I'm 25 again. My mind, cleared of the dust of stagnation, perceives the world in a new light, the flickering light of a 16mm movie projector. This flickering light laughs and cries with me, and it mocks the devil himself. Sid approached me. I had not seen him in a number of days. He had not shown up when he was supposed to. Though I had no reason to worry, I did. When I first caught sight of him, my heart jumped. A feeling of dread had overwhelmed me for days, and I thought relief would soon be with me. Just as I was about to call to him, something held me back. He walked toward me, but would not look me in the eyes. There was something wrong. Could those twinges I'd been feeling recently be more than my imagination? He spoke. His words were slow and nervous. He had never been that distant before. I can't remember hearing the words, but the ideas were clear. Slow and nervous. He had met someone else, someone happy who could make him feel the same. It was over between us. He could not understand me, he said. He and I were not suited and not meant to be. He could not love me. I raised my hand to strike. I would have killed him. I would have made him sorry for betraying me. I would have wreaked my revenge. I would have, had I not realized at that moment just how much I loved him. He said he hopes I understand. He said he was sorry. He said that these things happen. I loved him. I searched the city for him. His old car had a new owner. His old haunts were vacant of his presence. The city was in turmoil, so fast, so confused. He had left my world. I tried to wish him luck carving out a place for himself and his, but it is difficult. I don't understand why he left me. I don't understand how he could have been attracted to me in the first place. I wanted to be with him. He is out there, to feel the warmth of his body near mine. I am alone. I think of nothing but him. He is out there. He is out there, but we will never come together again. I am alone. The only thing that hurts more than being apart from him is being with him and knowing that he does not love me. I cannot make him love me. I cannot make anyone love me. I must retreat. Retreat from the city of night. The darkness beckons me. I return to its arms, to its coldness, to its silence. I feel it surround me and I feel completely alone. I've always been alone. I've always known I was alone. But never do I recall having felt so tragically alone. The darkness, which was once my friend and obedient servant, now taunts me with its lies and deceit. I gaze upwards. The stars and the moon no longer shine for me. The ebony sky stares down on me and I am ashamed to be alive. I'm not alive. My existence is an atrocity for which I now pay the price. Death would be too easy, too kind. I am sentenced for my crimes. Hundreds of years of blood and pain. I am cursed. Thousands of souls screaming, blaming me. I am alone. I am alone. It is dark.
The whole problem was, she made me too happy. I know it was the right thing to do, but I miss her still, even now. My main regret is that I'll never get to see her dance again.
Oh, but if I could turn my loneliness like a wheel, so round, and change it to hope or glee, time would carry it around the circle, full spent, and I would find myself returning to the state I'm in now. But with that time of sweet-tasting happiness lingering behind my brow, I would be sadder still. With happiness lost and lost again, it is better to embrace loneliness than to be haunted by many loves lost.
Thank you for watching. Good night.
Better be careful, so far from home, the thunder blaze, the lightning roar. In Hyde Park, I met a girl in Hyde Park. She ran away so full of fear. She ran away, went through her hair, the thunder and lightning lit up the sky. In Hyde Park, you can't be sure in Hyde.
I'm always dying, but I never die.